welcome to DOM 1. I'm Josh Nell with Lambda School for the web track. With DOM 1, we're going to be able to have one objective here in this video. You should be able to explain what the DOM is and how it relates to an HTML page. So, what is the DOM? Well, it stands for Document Object Model. We call it DOM because we don't like saying Document Object Model all the time. But what does that really mean? Well, it's an object representation of the HTML elements of a web page. Notice it's not the HTML web page itself. Like, it's not the HTML that you're writing. Let's talk more about what that means. Application Programming Interface. So you might have heard this a lot. In programming, it's kind of a buzzword in business, but an API. Basically, this is how we can communicate. It's kind of a bridge between something and another thing. In our case, the DOM is a bridge between content and then the browser. So that is our API for the DOM. So what the DOM is not. It is not JavaScript, even though we do write JavaScript to manipulate it. Sometimes I think when I was a new developer, I thought the DOM was JavaScript, but they're just tightly intertwined because of the syntax that we see. It's not HTML or CSS, even though we can manipulate it. And it's definitely not static. Static is just a word we use to say that it doesn't actually change or do anything. It changes quite a bit, actually. So let's talk about what the DOM is. It's a language-neutral API. So that means that JavaScript is not the only language that can actually manipulate it. Pretty crazy. It's a tree-like structure representing your content, structure, and style. Notice that we keep using that word representing or representative of an object. Also, it's dynamic. So that means if we change it live, it will change right before our eyes. We'll see that in a second. Let's see what this tree-like structure looks like and how it represents our document. So you can see there's these things called nodes and types. So notice that each one of these blocks represents a piece of the document or web page. Notice that it starts with the document and then trickles down. And you can actually see some tags that you recognize. HTML, the head tag, a body tag. Notice that under each one of those tags, there is a node, and then there's a colon, and then the node type. So inside of the DOM, the Document Object Model, all things that are representative are nodes, and those nodes have different types. So you can see here that most types are actually element, but you can see at the very bottom of the chain, we actually get into some text types. Those matter when we're trying to traverse the DOM, which we'll talk about later. So let's try this thing out. Let's see what the DOM is all about. So the best way to find out is to go to your favorite web page. In our case, lambdaschool.com. What I want you to do is I want you to actually get on your mouse and your keyboard for a second, and let's do this together. Pause the video if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click, Inspect Element. Remember, I'm on Chrome, so it's going to be like this. If you're on another browser, try to get on Chrome so we can do this together. I'm going to hit the Inspect, and it's going to bring up my DevTools. You can see something interesting. Down here, you can see it says H1, and it has Revolutionary New School. Notice that this is the code that was written, but now inside of the web page, it's rendering live or representing your HTML live. This is the DOM right here. So I can actually go in here and manipulate it. I could say, this is the DOM. And if I click off of it, you will see that it actually updated the title on this page. Now, of course, this is not permanent. This is only on my browser in my DOM that I can see, but you can see that this is proving that the DOM is manipulating the original object, which was our HTML tag, and specifically our header tag. Okay, let's see another representation of the DOM. Go to the console. Let's go ahead and say console.log, and let's just type in document. So this is representative of that little graph that we saw earlier. Go ahead and open this up. Wow, you can see all of the elements inside of the DOM tree. So this is how we can traverse the DOM and actually open up these elements and click around. You can see there's a lot of script tags, iframes, divs. This is a really fun thing to go to your favorite website and poke around their website by using this to navigate the DOM. All right, so just to review, the DOM is a representation of your HTML page that you wrote, including CSS, being represented in the browser. But it's not actually the code you write like when you're on your own editor. It's always in the browser. And that's our API, or our bridge from content to web page. Okay, I challenge you to go find your favorite website, inspect those elements on your own, open up the console, look at the document object, and poke around to find out what the DOM really is.